Okay, we're just going to give people a minute to settle in and wait for people to join us. So hello, everybody. Nice to see you all in all your
Hello.
respective spots.
Hello.
So there we go. Here we
Hi,
go. There's
Elena.
lots of people on now. So good evening and thank you all for joining us. I'm Denise Donlin and on behalf of the Room 217 Foundation, thank you all for being premium ticket holders. Your contribution is really hugely appreciated, and the money will go a long way to help people with music therapy, especially in palliative care situations, which is where the money's going tonight. So a few of our performers, you can see them on the screen already, and I will just introduce everybody one by one. First up, singer, songwriter, actor. Oh my God, I saw Alana in Soul Pepper's Ma Rainey, and my hands hurt from clapping so hard. Ladies and gentlemen, Alana Bridgewater.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. And above Alana, if that's the way it is on your screen, is the host of CBC's classical music show, Tempo. It's radio, so you can't see how gorgeous Julie Nasrallah is. She is a spellbinding singer in her own right. Ladies and gentlemen, the glorious Julie Nasrallah.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Hi. And underneath me, I think on at least my screen, is the world traveling Grammy nominated Juno Award winning Order of Canada, our musical treasure, Lorena McKennett. Hi, Lorena.
Hi there, Denise.
Lovely to see you.
Great.
Coming from Stratford today, right?
That's it. That's it. It's lovely Stratford.
Yeah, lovely to see you. And of course, you know, on the bottom floor, and he literally is on the bottom floor, he's literally underneath me at the moment, floor-wise, is a longtime board member and Room 217 Foundation, and of course, the curator of tonight's show, Murray McLaughlin.
Hi, everybody. So nice to see y'all.
So I'm going to ask a few questions, and then we're going to run away and get dressed and get ready for the show. So first up, you know, as I said, tonight's show is specifically about raising money for palliative care using music to ease people's burdens. And we all know that music has tremendous healing power. And what I love about this question for everybody tonight is that you will all come from different areas. Julie, talk about how classical music has that healing power. Was there a moment when you felt like, whoa, I can really feel the power of this music?
Well, actually, I can feel the power of this music right now during this current situation. I have been singing my whole life and have been performing in front of people since I was a little kid, but you don't really understand the depth of the effect that you're having until something of a crisis occurs. And I think when a crisis occurs is when you feel things the fullest. And so since the pandemic has begun, I have been on the radio, and essentially at the beginning as well, I was doing extra radio. We were on for extra hours during the day to keep people company and keep them in a healthy state of mind. And so during this pandemic, this era of COVID that we're all living through, I have been so attached to everyone who listens to my show and have been using language with extra care and bringing music into their spaces that uplifts them and shows them that the great power and beauty of classical music is something that can distract from the daily news of the day and something that can remind you of all the gorgeous things that humans create in the world and the level of brain power and beauty and complexity and depth that we're all able to create. And these are things that you don't necessarily take for granted on a day-to-day basis. Maybe you do, actually. Maybe you do a little. You put this stuff out, you're like, oh, here's some gorgeous Beethoven, go crazy. But in this time in particular, I feel very sensitive and very connected to everyone that I'm on the radio with. And I'm getting letters from people who are saying, thank God, we need this oasis. It's the only thing that's keeping me going. I hear that a lot. So this pandemic has really thrust me into a different level of illuminating actually is a great word, illuminating
Mm.
just how powerful things can be, music can be, and not just for physical, but particularly mental health.
Wow, wow, that's amazing. And I
Yeah.
feel that for sure. Lorena,
Yeah.
what's it been like for you? How have you felt the healing power of music and in your own music or anyone else's?
Well, when I think about this chronologically, I think about music that I would listen to for years that I would find had a very therapeutic effect on me. So, I mean, for my personal taste, some of it was classical music along the way. Some of it was some Celtic music, pieces by bands like Planxty or Bothy Band. Not every piece, but some pieces. And I would find that when I would feel disturbed by something, I would gravitate to that music or those pieces to somehow calm my soul. So as a person who has used music therapeutically in my life, and I would say I still do, I listen to classical music often when I'm working in my office setting. But on the other side, with my music that I've created, we've received a lot of correspondence from people across the years and across the globe, telling us, sharing with us how they have used my music therapeutically. Sometimes their babies have been born to it, they've been married, but where people sometimes have been in their last stages of life, and how they really found this soothing and something that can be appreciated jointly amongst the family members. So so that's really been my experience.
It's wonderful. Alana, maybe your perspective, I know you were nominated for a Gemini for a gospel record on CBC. Does your experience have anything to do with gospel?
Well, funny you'd ask, because I actually grew up classically and sang in my Catholic choir. Uh, so I was in the Canadian Children's Opera Chorus. So I've been singing for a very long time. But I will say that I've been really connecting with music of the soul, and it's a wide range of music. Um, I've also been I've delved into mento music, which is the origins of reggae music, because my mother is suffering from dementia. And we've been really connecting through the music of her childhood. So I'm finding that it's been extremely therapeutic for me, because I get a glimpse into my mother's life. And although we're going through a really tumultuous time, there's a lot of healing in that. So it's been a really interesting few months, and also to sorry. So also to add to that is just everything that's been going on south of the border and here with Indigenous rights, and so it's been a very complex time.
Yeah, I remember, Lorena, the last time I saw you in the street, as it were, we were in the Women's March, and just after Donald Trump got elected. And I remember thinking, because I was marching with Lorraine Segato, I was like, where's the music on this march? Because that's the kind of thing that really, takes you to a next level, right? That's a whole rabbit hole. Murray, what about you? How has the fact that music has healing powers, how has that been evidenced through your experience?
Well, throughout my life, there have been many instances that are illustrative of how powerful music can be, but most certainly the most recent one for me, my brother passed away in March. He had advanced dementia. And I was fortunately able to be with him right up until the very end of his life, because the full lockdown situation had not occurred yet. And he was beyond the point where he could really use language effectively anymore. So I played him music, and they were some of the most precious personal and private moments that I've ever had in my life. And I would put on Claude Debussy, and even in his advanced condition of being near death, his right hand came up off the bed and he was conducting along
Oh my
with the music.
goodness.
And then, I would segue to something that I knew he loved, some big Frank Sinatra show tune, which might seem inappropriate for a quiet moment, but his toes were working like crazy in time with the music. And that was the case. The music was reaching him up until just maybe a couple of hours before he passed away. So, for me, it illustrates the importance of the fact that, I write songs as many people do, and sometimes the impact that they have on people's lives is something that's not really visited on you. But because of the things that people have said to me from time to time, I've come to realize that we all attach music to our lives, even specific pieces of music, because of the situation or the emotions that we're going through at the time when we hear it, or the sociological changes that affect us as we hear it. So it's very, very closely intertwined in the fabric of everyone's life. And as such, it has a very, very powerful motivational effect for people who are in great difficulty.
Yeah, yeah. It also really has the power to lift people up, to change your mood, to activate and unite us. I keep thinking, given, as was referenced earlier, the freak show that's happening down in America right now, and we're being affected by it up here. I keep thinking, where are all the great protest songs? For goodness sakes, not like there is not anything to write about. Anyway,
Well, just to pop in there, Denise, one other thought that I've had in this department, I've often felt that music is like this pharmacy that you can pull out different genres to induce or support the mood that you want to evoke or sustain yourself in. I mean, it can go anything from music that incites warlike kind of things, or let's say in a march where you can have very defiant kinds of expressions. And what we're talking about here, in particularly in the context of this evening, that side of the musical pharmacy that is there really to feed the soul and to help us humans that may be very trapped in a very mortal kind of state, that we can reach deeper into a more spiritual realm, and that the conduit for that experience can often be music.
wow, that is such an insightful
Love
way of
that.
looking at it.
In a moment of
Love that.
levity, it's also the case that some really good loud leaping music is the perfect thing when you've just broken up with somebody and you're cleaning and disinfecting your house and all you want to do is like leap around and go whee.
Yeah,
Van
exactly.
Halen. Yes.
Van Halen.
Zeppelin.
There's some really great music that's being born out of this time. And
Yeah.
it's been interesting how much new material is coming out, a lot of really great protest songs. So I'm excited to see what that's going to look like in the realm of the history of music for this time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Mhm.
Murray's been writing a lot of topical material. He just released a video last week called Living on a White Cloud that I will send you. And yeah, it's what is it, honey? The apology song.
Well, if frankly,
I'll
I
take
had
10. Yes.
I really had to examine my own heart. I mean, I'm 72 years old now and transcend a lot of generations, and I've seen a lot of opinions, positive and negative, come and go. So I had to look really deep down in my own heart and find out if that kind of thing lives in me, and if it does, it's time I apologized for it.
Mm.
I think one of the other dimensions of music is that any music that can be done in an analog fashion, and that's not always possible or practical, but there is that, I think it's the gold star when people, whatever the expression is, that there's so much other kinds of energy and information that can come to a person that is not mediated through technology. So I certainly welcome the day when we can reappreciate or appreciate that dimension of our human connection, that it doesn't always shine through a technological filter.
Oh, no, totally agreed. And I'd like to ask you all a question about that, because, you know, obviously the pandemic has affected people in so many ways, from, you know, frontline workers to people with dealing with mental health challenges, to restaurants, to musicians, tours canceled, festivals canceled, having to lay off road crew. And we're missing that collective experience that you get when you all share a communal experience. So just, I'd love to hear how the pandemic has affected you all. And also if there's any coping mechanisms that you can offer maybe to the people who are watching as we continue to go through such a time. Julie, why don't you start?
Well, I had been singing throughout my life, and I often wondered what it would feel like if someone took that away from me. And now I got that feeling and I got that answer, and it ain't good. I think when you're an artist, if you are the real deal, my singing life, much like my hair, is very much inextricably linked to my identity. It's linked to my happiness. It's linked to how balanced I feel in the world. If I haven't sung for a couple of days, I start to get a little bit edgy. I don't know why I'm not feeling really great, but then I warm up my voice and I have to sing something for the next gig, and I go, oh gosh, that's why I haven't been feeling kind of myself. I have to sing something. And so I am riding that line, a very fine line right now, because I am gainfully employed. So I thank the heavens for that security. But the emotional aspect of the pandemic, as far as being a musician is concerned, has really been crazy. I had all my contracts canceled, 15 or 16 of them over the last few months. I'm not warming up as much because I don't have to sing. I feel fatigued because of the pandemic, so I don't really feel like singing, but then I get asked to sing and I warm up and I feel so much better. I always say artists got to art, and I am definitely someone who needs to sing. So I have been feeling this loss, or this mournful feeling for it. And I don't know if anyone else saw the article that came out in the Globe a little while back, but the journalist was saying, you are kissing goodbye to the life that you knew. And that really made me sad, because I have plans, and I'm ambitious, and I have these projects and these things I want to do, like my own projects that I want to advance. And it hit me. And I don't know if that's necessarily true, but I think a certain aspect of it is that the life we knew is over. It doesn't mean that a new one can't be born, but what will it look like? I really need, like Lorena said, I really need that kinetic energy between a live audience. You share so much. You share laughs, you share mistakes, you share the hair falling in your face, you share going, oh gosh, we need to start that over. You get so close to people when you're going to places to perform for them. And I think that's what it boils down to, is that, heck, I'm a strangers. So there's that connection and the physical act of singing. So even tonight, I'm so looking forward to opening my mouth and letting sounds come out of it, because the chances are so few and far between. And I'm already feeling more balanced about it. I haven't even done, just the idea of being able to, put on a dress and just do that is like, okay, let's go. So it has been a challenge.
Yeah, and Julie did that. I remember she made headlines across the country singing opera from her balcony to all the people. So well done on that. We'll find new ways.
Thank you.
Maybe not the ways that are the best paying, but new ways nonetheless. Alana, what about you? How's the pandemic affected you, and how are you coping?
Well, it's I've been going through so many different emotions. And one of the things that was apparent when I was speaking with a number of musicians was, at the beginning, there was a sense of relief. And it was a weird thing, but it was that we are, for most of my circle, are working musicians, working actors. We're constantly working. And so it was the first time that we had no choice but to stop.
Right.
And there was something really powerful about that. To not have to worry about 8 shows a week, or not, at the initial was not panic. And then after a few, the panic sets in because you think about the financial implications of that. But what I've been finding personally is I was supposed to go out to the island. I was going to go to Charlottetown and do the festival and also do this new Rita McNeil musical.
Yeah.
So I'm mourning that because the island is beautiful. And then we were going to go to Nova Scotia and present this piece. But what I've been finding is that what's helping me is writing. And I've been writing a lot of poetry. And I also was, one of my pieces were featured with Necessary Angel Theater.
Mm.
And I just find that there's so much, it's all of the things that I wanted to do, be a playwright, focus on writing, screenplays, things like that I'm now actually focusing on. And it's just been a really beautiful time for that.
Wow.
So
Great.
I do
Spending
feel
time with
the
your
pain.
daughter.
Pardon me?
And spending time with your daughter and your family.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm right in the middle of it. My mom's 87 and she's with me. So, and she fell right at the beginning of the pandemic.
Oh, no.
And, yeah,
Oh,
so
no.
she broke, her lower spine. She's able to walk, but it's been quite a challenge. But my daughter's been, finding ways. The young people are so resilient. So, not only are they activists, but they're finding ways to find work through this medium of technology. So that's been helpful
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
don't have to worry so much about her financial issues.
The young people.
But
they're
it's been,
resilient.
it's so many different emotions during this time.
Yeah.
So thank you. We're down to just a couple minutes left before the show has to start. So, Lorena, I wonder if you could share your experience there.
Yes, well, about a year ago, I was planning to take a pause from my career anyway. So this event of the COVID landed right in that space. My time is spent more. I'm homeschooling my son, and but I'm also involved in various civic activities. I'm the honorary colonel for the RCF, and we're working on some things there. I'm working collectively with some group on climate change, Indigenous things, as well as the unintended consequences of technology and the impact on human and particularly child development. So these are that I'm spending a lot of time on. And it's amazing how short the day can become. But that part of myself as an artist, I mean, it certainly is wonderful to be able to come back to being an artist, as we will tonight, and I'm very grateful for that opportunity. But I also want to thank Murray and all the people at Room 217 for this amazing initiative. I think it is extraordinarily important. I cared for my mother in the last 2 years of her life, and music was a central part of that. She was at home with me when she passed away, and I know how momentous that time can be. So I'm grateful to be amongst all the other people here tonight, and I'm very, very grateful for all the people who'll be watching us tonight, and hope they contribute and support this wonderful foundation.
Beautiful.
Thank you, Lorena, and we're grateful for you. Murray, last word to you. How have you been coping with the pandemic? Besides,
Well, before I last word anything, I think it's really incumbent on me to thank everybody who's here, and of course Mark Jordan, who couldn't be part of this call, and Lou, who plays with him, and Steve Patterson, of course. Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful of all of you to donate your time and put the effort in to do this. And I know it's been murderous because it's pivoted so many times. We've had to change plans so many times. It's been extraordinarily difficult, and I'm really, really appreciative of it. So the COVID thing, my songs that I write are my canvas, and the concerts that I do are my gallery. So I'm missing my gallery.
Yeah.
I never thought that I would miss doing concerts as much as I do, because quite frankly, it's been many, many years, but I still have to make a run to the loo before I hit the stage, like so many people do. So, you get nervous, but you get keyed up like a racehorse. And I never really realized how much I would miss that.
Yeah.
But moreover, my thoughts have really been with the people that are, as they say politically, a little bit down the ballot. If I stop working, there's a lot of people that don't benefit from that, from taxi cab drivers, hotels, airlines, car rental companies, the musicians that I hire, work with, the theater personnel, the concert promotions company that puts on my shows. Like there's a lot of people that really sort of depend on that revenue stream. And I can see the economic effects almost immediately. So my way of coping with COVID has been to move some projects forward that'll actually keep some of those people working and have some fun and be
Right.
really optimistic about it too. So that's what I'm doing. And the final footnote is I try, I'm kind of known as, well, Joni Mitchell's nickname for me was Grumpy, which I understand is part of my character, but I'm trying really, really hard during these difficult times to be as absolutely nice to people as I can possibly be.
Yeah, it's right. It's like what Margaret Atwood said at the beginning in an article in The Atlantic. And she said, I want you all to think about the things that you still want to be there when this is over, and contribute to them and support them and donate to them.
Yes.
So with that, I want to thank you all of you, for volunteering your time and your creative talent. And it was really a pleasure to have this time to spend and chat, because, as I said, Marie curated this show, but at the end of the day, all wonderful musicians and talents, but it's really your heart that shines through. So thank you for that. And looking forward to seeing you all on some semblance of stage tonight as we've pivoted again. And thank you to everyone in the audience, particularly for being the premium ticket buyers, because this is an organization that can turn a dime into a dollar. Your money is going to be really well used. And tonight, with the addition of Mark Jordan and Steve Patterson, we will see you all, and thank you again. And I hope you all have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank you.
everybody. Lovely.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Lovely to see you.
Thank you.